Yeah,
I will
so
say I do like the title for this episode.
I know it's great, right?
Do you find me hauntingly attractive?
Someone's like, oh my God, that's so great.
I'm telling you, marketing genius.
Marketing genius. I love it.
Chrissy,
I also love like the little excerpts you make of like how the episode's gonna go. I'm like, this is fabulous.
Oh yeah. Tell them. Do you want to tell our audience about You Run real quick?
Yeah, absolutely, we do. So this this podcast is part of the You Run Podcast Network, where you can find all sorts of fun and amazing podcasts just like ours. You can check them out in the show link below, and also make sure to give a like, follow, and subscribe to You Run Podcast Network on Instagram for sure.
Yep. Perfect.
Yay. Alrighty. Well, everyone, welcome to us being in the same clothes for the third episode.
This is
This has been
triple episode days are necessary because we want to get ahead.
Yeah, we have a busy season ahead of us.
We have such a busy season. Yeah.
So welcome everyone to the Paranormal Misfits podcast, where the curious roam, the weird feels at home, and horror is just another day in the office. I
didn't mimic Chrissy. You that time.
I know, not until the very end I saw that.
I know. And I'm your host, Nino Daniel. I hope everyone's doing so well.
I hope you guys have been enjoying our episodes.
Yeah. Kivana was on 2 weeks ago, aka this morning.
First thing.
Lizzie Borden was last week, aka 35 minutes ago. Like, we're doing well. When we do like double and triple up days, we take like 15-minute breaks in between each episode. Mm-hmm. And I got so sidetracked playing with Binks. He was like at the top of the stairs and just doing his cute little cat thing. And I was like, oh, I can't not pet the floof.
That's right.
God, my little floofers.
Little floof.
Chrissy and I also, I know I've made remarks about it over the past couple of weeks, but I do want to let anyone know who's going through like a health journey, a weight loss journey, whatever that might look like for you. I really wish you the best. Chrissy and I both want everyone to be as healthy as possible, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and of course, financially. Yes. You can make us financially healthy by purchasing the merchandising. Purchase the merch. Okay.
Perch the merch.
Perch the merch. Link in the show notes. Feel free to leave us a 5-star review, follow, subscribe, leave us a comment, interact with us wherever you're able to on whatever podcast platform you're listening.
Yes.
And if you're a brand or business that wants to be in discussion about potentially sponsoring an episode of Paranormal Misfits podcast, get with me. My email's in the show notes.
That's right.
Today is a fun discussion.
Today is a fun discussion. I'm excited because we both get to learn about what each state does.
Yeah.
That we reside in.
We're talking about haunted attractions.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And it makes sense because it's literally about time.
Right?
I think all of the major ones should be open by now.
I was going to say, so I know at least in Florida, Disney's already monopolized. They started theirs early. Universal Studios just kicked theirs off in Orlando.
Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights started August 30th.
Yeah, and I want to say Disney started theirs about the same time too. They're Not So Scary Halloween Party.
Yeah. So I'm glad that spooky season is becoming an earlier and earlier trend. I think if we keep this going, spooky fam, spooky stuff, I want Halloween all year round.
Ray says the same thing. He's like, can't we just like theme everything like Halloween?
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Well, it's funny because there's people who do Nightmare Before Christmas parties. And I'm like, technically it's Halloween.
Right.
So
depending on who you are.
Yes. Depending on who you are. But I want to start us off with an Arizona-based haunted attraction that is near and dear to my heart. And not just because I'm a partner with them. Really quick, for the audience, what day is this episode coming out?
Fuck.
The 21st?
14th.
No, the 28th.
Yeah, this is 28th.
Well, this is perfectly timed because as of September 27th, Sanctum of Horror in East Mesa is now open.
That's exciting because you were leaking. You actually got to do some previews as they're building. Oh,
I have more preview. Well, I'm technically still in the preview phase. Like, as you guys are listening to this, I should have pushed out more content, and I will. But it's been like one of my favorite attractions to go to. And one of the reasons why I love it so much is because it's 10 minutes away from my house.
That's always a plus, man.
It's literally less than 3 miles away from my house. I'm not even kidding.
You're like, I could take a jog if I wanted.
Honestly, 3 miles is generous. It's probably under 5.
There you go.
But still.
Yeah.
It's like less than 20 streetlights.
There you go.
So, Sanctum of Horror is located in East Mesa at the Superstition Springs Mall, right behind JCPenney.
Very nice.
It is guarded with round-the-clock security, and there are 2 haunts. One is Sanctum of Horror, and one is The Breach. If you actually end up going to the Costco in East Mesa, right off of Sossaman Road in the 60, you can actually get 2 tickets with Fast Pass features for 47% off.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
One of the things that I also love is they hire local actors, of course, and they like train them and everything. And like the Edie has been a gem. Everyone's been so amazing. I really wanted to highlight them because it's just something that I've been going to for the past like 5 or 6 years, ever since I started dating my husband.
Right.
And on top of that, they have local vendors. They have like a fenced off area, and like around the perimeter of the front of the fenced off area is local vendors, you know, people selling stuff, coffee shops, a couple of like, they have like, what's that hot dog, Wiener Schnitzel, but not Wiener Schnitzel.
I know what you're talking about. Kind of
but
like
I think it is Wiener Schnitzel. I don't know.
Yeah.
I tried a Polish last year, and I don't think I'm going to do it again. It was a little on the spicy side for me.
Oh, really? For Polish?
Well, no, they added like the spicy stuff.
Oh.
Like the jalapenos and the peppers and all of this stuff. And I was like, okay, this is a bit much.
Right. I was about to say.
And it was also the first time I had freeze-dried Skittles.
So my kids love that shit.
I can't do it anymore.
No.
Obviously. I will say that it is... I think I prefer the haunt for Sanctum of Horror. Just because it's more like... I don't know. I like them both, but I think Sanctum of Horror is the best. I think it just does a really good job with like the lighting features. Again, the cast and like the scares and like the people who are in there are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. Like I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm partnered with them, and maybe it's just because I'm so obsessed with like the family and how they came to be. Oh my gosh.
I was about to say, like, you posted up videos and stuff, and they look great. Like, they theme stuff out very well. It's well thought out.
Sean is the owner. He's the one who like conceptualized everything.
Right.
And it's an idea that started literally in his garage.
Oh, very cool. I like that.
And now it's been going on for somewhere between 6 to 8 years.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's good stuff. I love a good haunt that has it's small, it's local, it's family owned. It's not some big corporate thing. Yeah. And they do a damn good job. Like they have they'll have multiple events this season. ScaredyCon 2 is something I'm excited for. Shout out to my friends over at Scaredy. Shout out to our friends at ScaredyCast. They're gonna do a lights out night where you have to go and find your light source and use it. And sometimes like what they'll do is they'll have like timers on the light source that'll beep so the characters can come to you.
Oh no.
I think that's what they're doing. And then they have, for little kids, they have a lights on event, which is cool. It's like a scare event, just so kids can walk through. And, you know, just the usual fun stuff, chainsaws, blood, people hanging from the ceiling. Possession of an axe that you kill your mom and dad with. Oh my God.
And they're running through for how long? So they started.
I think they go through. They started yesterday. And they'll go through the first weekend in November.
Oh, very cool.
They go through Day of the Dead.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
So yeah, you get like And it's as we get closer to Halloween, it goes from just the weekends to like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Like it kind of builds the
Yeah,
closer we get. So what's
that makes
going
sense.
on in Florida?
Okay, so in Florida, we have the usual. So we have the big amusement parks. So we have Disney's Not So Scary Halloween Party that already kicked
Is it
off.
actually not so scary?
It's not, but you know what? They give out a shit ton of fucking candy,
Like for free?
like for free. You buy the tickets, the kids get like a bag, and that bag is like tip top. You remember like when we used to go trick or treating and
Oh,
like we
back
used
in
to
the
be
day
able
when
to.
trick or treating was a fucking like
Yes.
bank heist?
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like when you leave Disney.
Jesus.
So you have that. You have Universal Studios with their Halloween Horror Nights. I
Absolutely.
believe Busch Gardens has their version. I'm not entirely sure what theirs is called. Over the Florida Georgia line, there is. Oh, it's not. Well, I know Six Flags has one too, but oh shit. Wild Adventures will have theirs usually, and then I think SeaWorld does one. I'm not
Jesus.
entirely
Okay,
sure.
so I'm in the wrong like coast.
But Jacksonville wise, so if you go to St. Augustine, they do fun things. They always have fun festivals. St. Augustine's supposed to be one of the most haunted cities in America. Thank you, Spaniards, for doing that shit.
Thanks, Inquisition.
Thanks. um, they they're a hit or miss though with like haunted houses. Like they did some in the early 2000s to the late 2000s and then kind of stopped, and then they focused more on like their haunted pub crawls or their Hearst rides or the trolley systems that take you into like Ripley's late at night or like the old jail late at night. Those aren't bad. They're not bad. Definitely creepy just because, you know, like in Ripley's you have everything that was like that guy collected. And the story with Ripley's here in St. Augustine was it was technically a hotel.
I've heard that before. I've heard that Ripley's was a hotel first.
And it caught
I've heard
fire
that.
and 2 women died in the same
I didn't
position
fucking
on the
hear
same
that.
floor. Yeah. So that's the haunting that they used for that one.
Okay. Believe it or not, they died, you know?
Believe it or not.
Ripley's pun.
They even have what's so messed up about it is they even have like a scene that they created on that floor that looks just like it and sounds like a fire happening and it's wild.
Babes, I'm good.
We have more family-based stuff. So we have the usual 13th floor that comes through.
I was just gonna get into ours in a second.
So we have ours. Ray and I have been hitting that one now. We also do their Valentine's Day one, which was really cute. It was fun.
We don't have one.
Really? They set ours up and it was done like New Orleans vampires. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, so cool. I loved it. I'm still a scaredy bitch. I put my husband in front all the time.
Oh, see,
I will not lead.
We're doing things differently this year. I'm swinging.
You're
Put me in front, coach. Put me in front. I'm knocking hoes out, ho. Cause I know them bitches is gonna be like, scared a little gay man coming down the corridor. And I'm like, I'm literally gonna start turning corners. Like, if you jump out, I'm gonna hit you.
Ray and I literally always end up, I don't know how we do it. We always end up in between like teenagers.
Oh, I fucking hate that.
I don't though. I don't because the girls start squealing and then you can just walk on by.
Oh yeah, because they're like a deterrent.
Yeah, they're such a focal point for the scare actors that like
I you know what though? That's where I take my cheap shots. Especially with like 13th floor. 13th. So I first went to 13th floor probably when I was like 19. So this is many moons ago. There's still one haunted attraction in Arizona that I have not been to that everyone keeps telling me to go to, and it's called Fear Farm. The thing is it's so far the fuck away from my house.
That's how I feel.
Like, it's literally almost an hour away from my house. I'm like, if I'm paying $65 to enter a haunted, I better die. Like, so right? I went to our 13th floor the first time, and me being me, I don't get scared of people. I start interacting with the character actors. And they're like, do you want to hang from the ceiling with your intestines? I'm like, that would just ruin the upholstery.
Like, but it just wouldn't match the drapes.
It
guys.
just wouldn't. The curtains wouldn't match the drapes, babe, or the carpet wouldn't match the drapes. I have like literally had a couple characters at 13th floor break character.
That's awesome.
And only because there was one time where like a guy came up to me and I was like, "You're kind of cute."
No.
And he's like, "I'm here to kill you." I'm like, "You legally can't do that." But you're kind of cute.
We had one scare actor break character because Ray was going the wrong way. She was like, no, you have to go this way. And I'm like, babe, look at that. You just made her break character. You went the wrong way.
When I was doing 13th floor, they had they elevated it one year where they bought the it's usually like in an abandoned like Fry's or some like grocery store. They ended up like buying the grocery store next to it too. And so they like
made it was bigger.
Like oh my god, it took 45 minutes to go through.
I think ours were about that long.
Yeah, because usually like Sanctum of Horror and The Breach, I think Sanctum of Horror takes like 15 to 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Breach is it's usually like attractions, if there's 2 or whatever, you're looking at about an hour.
Yeah.
With waiting in line, with everything else, you're looking at about an hour. But with one time for 13th floor, there was a part where there was a dude, like a character actor, chasing me with a chainsaw. And I straight up was like, "You have me cornered." And he's like, "Do you want to die?" I'm like, "Can you just point out where I go?" And he goes, "This way." And I'm like, there's literally like a small little opening for a bridge. He goes, "You have to go this way to escape." I'm like, "Okay, real quick. It's you and I right now."
That's it.
"It's you and I, babe. What the fuck do I do?" And he goes, "Go under the passage." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Okay." And I was like, "And how far are you going to chase me?" He's like, "This is my border and I got to go back." I was like, "Oh, okay." Great. And I straight up was like, Thank you, sir." I do also, now that you're bringing this up, you are helping me bring up a very nasty story that happened. Oh, this was still a haunt in Mesa, and it was like where the old Fiesta Mall used to be, if you know, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's not quoting Jennifer Lopez, because fuck her. There was a haunt that had you go into a maze. Ugh. And I'm like, motherfucker. So I can literally now start feeling the feeling of pain in like my forehead and my nose. There's a reason. So they have these things where like they have a maze, but like there's like drapings. So sometimes like you're gonna pull a curtain and you're gonna continue forward, or it's gonna be pulling a curtain. There's a wooden wall behind it.
Right.
Well, I was about 25 feet. I could see the sign that says exit, and I can like kind of like maneuver myself through the maze there. And I heard a guy coming after me with a chainsaw. And I just started running, and I was like making my way, and I heard him rev it, and it sounded like he was right behind me, but he was like 2 walls over. And I did the stupidest thing that you do in horror movies. I look behind me and I was like, okay, he's not there. And I'm still running. And as I turn and face forward, I go through what I thought was going to be a drape, and I hit the wall. Like my nose was literally bent.
Oh, that's terrible.
And like you just heard like a so not doing that one ever again. Ever.
That is, oh my God. See, I haven't gotten hurt in any. St. Augustine did have, and I said it out loud because I'm just like you. I will say it loudly. Like my warning comes out and that's it. Right?
It's like, I'll hit you.
Yeah. So we go into, it was like a warehouse, and they had three separate houses side by side, right? When you bought a ticket, you get to go in all 3. First one was called Vertigo.
I already don't like it.
Painted black and white.
Fuck me.
Like the asymmetrical like designs, had the strobe lights.
Like illusionary. Oh.
So we get through that one. I don't remember the name of the second one. The only thing I remember, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but it had clowns, it had strobe lights, it had wild colors, but it had like a mannequin that was the size of like an Oompa Loompa in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when Ray and I were first dating.
Great.
Because he knew I loved Halloween, and I love, despite the fact that I act like a scaredy bitch through them, I love the adrenaline rush I get from them.
100%. I poop all the time afterwards.
Right?
I sprint to the squatty potties.
Like, I gotta go, guys.
Or the porta potties. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Sorry, y'all. It's episode 3.
It is. It's episode 3. But there was a small one, a small mannequin, and I said it out loud. I said, I swear to God, if a little person starts to move, I give no apologies for what happens with my legs, because I'm a kick. So I give no apologies. That's my warning. Sure enough, the little person was actually going to come from the corner and run out, but they kind of slowly, because I watched out of my peripheral, they kind of slowly came out and then walked off. And I was like, oh, thank God. So then the next one that they had set up was done up kind of like a mixture of different horror movies.
Okay.
So Texas Chainsaw, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, and then Halloween. And the bad part about that one was it stunk because they used like the knapsacks or whatever those things are called. Burlap sacks.
Burlap sacks.
And then they had like the
and those
fog
retain
machine.
moisture.
Yeah, and in Florida it smells. And they had the fog done up, but they had it like so high that it threw off like your vision of depth perception. So like I'm walking through and I'm like, I swear to God, if I bust my fucking ass, everybody's gonna know. And then I'm gonna fight somebody. But we made it through it or whatever, and that was a pretty cool one. I love 13th Floor. I think they do good with the themes. I always get like a fun shirt from there afterward.
Yeah.
Like I got an Elvira one.
They have a whole gift shop.
I know.
Like...
Well, ours, after you walk out, you have the option of doing some escape rooms, or you could do some axe throwing.
Yeah, they have like stuff there.
Yeah. So like I like it. It's just in a really iffy part. Not the iffiest part of town, but an iffy part.
No, it's always in a sketchy Sketcherson place.
Now, we used to have something kind of like where you were talking about, where it was called like a forest, like a haunted forest. They used to do one, and it was like in Baldwin or something that's like 45 minutes or so outside of Jacksonville. And that was all done by volunteers, volunteer firefighters. I was friends with one of the girls who did the makeup for them because she was a makeup artist, and she would volunteer her time and go do the makeup. And I never made it out to it, but it always sounded like a blast until I heard someone broke their ankle. It's like, that'd probably be me. Like, no thanks. But yeah, so the only other thing that I can think of that we're having aside from 13th Floor, which is geared more towards like the teenagers and the adults, is I don't know if your zoo does it. Our zoo does what's called like a spooktacular event.
We do like a yeah.
So the only downside to it is, one, it keeps increasing in price but decreasing in like quality.
Same.
They don't give out enough food not food, but enough candy to the kids to make it worth it. For like to take your little ones.
And how much is it usually for?
Oh, I was going as a member because I used to have a zoo pass, but then they like upped that fucking price. It could be like $46. Probably more like $25, maybe.
Jesus.
But that's even for kids. Kids and adults were a standard $25.
Per person?
If you were a member, it was $10. So it was, advantageous to have the membership. They try and do scare zones. My two older ones are still got like high anxiety to where I don't think they'll be able to handle that as much.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the only other thing I can think of. I mean, we do have fun so my friends and I caught like those pop-up taverns where they would tell like the ghost stories. They'd have like the actors come out, they'd theme the drinks. You get a drink per round of stories. Nice. Mm-hmm.
I like that. See, pretty cool. I like when they do stuff like that.
I do too, but the thing is they're so random. They're not like a consistent thing because they're pop-ups. So like it's like a traveling group.
And I'm like, if it's good, just keep coming back here and doing it. Like,
Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to see if there's any of those happening. I know do you guys have a Maggiano's?
We
The
do have a
restaurant.
Maggiano's.
So our Maggiano's at our town center is about to do mystery dinner nights. Mystery murder.
Oh, like murder mystery dinner?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if ours is going to do that, but
It
cute.
seems interesting. My only issue is I don't want to interact with a lot of residents.
And I just want to eat my food, bitch. Like,
and then they're like, make sure you dress up according to the theme. And I was like, okay, first off, this says like black tie event, and no, it's Florida. It's too fucking hot for that shit. Like, are you kidding me? But yeah, no, a lot of our stuff happens more so down towards Central Florida, really.
Ours is probably like Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Okay.
Last year in downtown Phoenix, they like some rich people had like they rented out like a town square, like a historic building, had a whole ass Halloween party there.
Oh my God.
And like, I don't know. I want to get more into this really quick, but before we do, just remember to purchase the merch. Okay. Link in the show notes. Make sure to give us 5 stars, review, subscribe, follow, all the good stuff. We will be right back after this commercial massage.
Check out the latest episode of Dewey Pod Monster. This podcast is about consumption. They cover all kinds of subjects that can be consumed like beer, movies, music, spirits, and more. With this podcast, nothing is off limits. You can find them on most streaming platforms. Yeah.
And we're back. For you guys, it was like a minute long thing. For us, it was a 10-second pause. There is, I want to kind of transition from talking about stuff in Phoenix and Mesa and talk about one in Tucson.
Ooh.
I went to with my sister. This was October of 2021. Went to, I think it's called Nightfall. And they have it like out on the side of the freeway and you go into a corn maze. So here's the gag. It's like a big farmland type thing.
Yeah.
And they have 3 haunted houses. Each of them get increasingly scarier. So I said, we're going to do the scariest one first.
Right.
You can do them in any order.
Oh, very cool.
So
okay.
I was like, we're going to do the scariest one first. Little did I fucking know that doing the scariest one first would take you in a corn maze that puts you, and I shit you not, a mile away from the entrance.
What?
You are like, it looks shorter, but remember all like the zigging zagging that you've done. You're like, visually, you're about like a half mile, I think, but like you're about close to a mile away from the entrance, which means you have to walk a mile back.
Angry and scared.
And then on top of that, they have like people jumping out whenever.
No.
Like they have people through there. Like they're like, you have to go to the end and come back. And I was like, what if someone snuck in here? And you know how they always do that thing where like no scare actor is going to jump out right in the beginning when the light is still shining.
Yep.
They're going to wait. So I for me, I was like, I kind of like actually am getting a little afraid. Like I'm getting just a touch scared.
You're like, this is where I've watched horror movies go down.
Hey, so one thing I know about me is people are gonna die here. Like it literally felt like that. Like
I saw Children of the Corn.
Yeah, but they make it a whole thing. There's like food there. There's a pumpkin patch. There's like places for photos. And then I remember like that if that was the scariest one, I can only imagine what the other two were like. The other two weren't even memorable.
Oh, wow. So it's good that you did the third one, right?
Yeah, one moves by. I think the middle one moved by pretty quick. The middle one took 20 minutes.
Nice.
The first one took 30, and then like that third one, that corn maze, like that was like we were there for like an hour.
Well, yeah, because you're in a corn maze.
I was like, I remember looking at my sister. I was like, did we go too far? And like they have like little things that tell you like where to go. I was like, okay, good. We're still seeing like the signs.
God.
But Yeah. Do you have stuff like that? Do you have like ones in Florida that are just big for no fucking reason?
So I don't know about haunted houses. We do have a corn maze pumpkin patch, but it's geared more towards kids.
Mm.
Like if maybe smaller towns might have something, maybe, but I'm not entirely sure because they don't really highlight it. I know that St. Augustine does fun themes, so like Day of the Dead's a big one.
Of course. In Tucson, it's a huge thing. I participated in a procession walk.
Yeah. I watched one of those happen. Ray and I we were about to go do a haunted pub crawl. We were getting some food and I was like, oh, holy shit, look at that. And he's like, oh damn. Because we went on Halloween.
Yeah.
To go do the pub crawl because the kids were the two oldest kids at that point were with their dad for the weekend. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go do some adult shit.
She said, get me out.
Now I will say, I haven't been to Halloween Horror Nights in fucking years. But I can. You've never been? So my first
hopefully
one.
that's all gonna change.
Right. My first one ever was early 2000s, post high school. So I want to say like 06, 07. Carnival of Carnage was the name of it. I went to that one and good Lord, I thought I peed my pants. And I've heard more little kids drop the fucking F-bomb. Yeah, because those scare actors are allowed full range all over the park.
Fuck that mean?
That means like, so...
Oh, they're not just tethered to like one location?
No, there are some that want.
So they could literally follow you.
Yeah.
Fuck that, bro.
Yeah. The haunted houses, even at that time, we're so long in lines. I think I only made it to like 2 of them. One of them was Black Christmas.
How was that?
That one was great. I'm not gonna lie. To be fair, that's probably one of my favorite Christmas horror movies. Both the original and the remake.
Which remake? There's 2.
So the remake with Brittany Snow. I think's her name.
The 2006 one.
Yeah.
Oh, with like Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
That one. Although I do think the early 70s one is actually really good.
Fucking great.
It's amazing. Yeah. That lead, the final girl in that one, she was so fantastic.
Did you see the 2019 one?
I don't think I've watched it
The
yet.
Blumhouse one?
Mm-mm.
I actually liked it better than the 2006 one.
Really?
Which is a shocker for me to say about right? Blumhouse.
Right? Now, funny thing, St. Augustine, and this is what makes me kind of upset about St. Augustine, is they have so many like houses that they're not using, or so many buildings they're not like, actively using that could be used for things. There was one year they used the old Spanish hospital as a haunted house, and they did. And you could tell it was local, but they weren't well trained. The girl was trying to act like she was like possessed, right? Like chain, doing the whole thing. I was laughing the entire time. I was like, oh no.
What was she doing?
She was just acting like she was possessed. She was like, just dumb shit. And I'm like, oh. But that was also before they really put effort into haunted houses.
Now they do. Well, isn't there one in like LA or New York or something where they physically can touch you and grab you and pull you?
Hold on. Not that okay. All right. So let's go down that rabbit hole real quick. So you've heard of, was it McKinney?
Something.
McKinney something Manor, where you have to literally sign
a death waiver.
Yeah. That one I do know. Can touch, torture, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know about the one in LA though, but that Manor one
physically grab you.
That Manor one has a documentary where they're trying to get it closed down. People are actively trying to get it closed down because it's like making snuff films, basically.
Oh god, what's a snuff film?
Did you ever watch 8mm?
No.
With Nicolas Cage. Okay, so snuff films are usually like dark web kind of stuff.
Oh, never mind. Bye.
But it deals with death. So think of Hostel. but they report
Never
it.
mind. Bye. No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
That's
Pulling my
what that's
Jessie
what it
J
is.
vocals out.
Think of like
Um,
Black Dahlia, basically.
no, 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 no,
Yep,
no.
yep, yep.
That's nope.
All
I'm not
right.
doing that shit. There was one that I heard of. I want to get to one local one in Scottsdale that I go to every year, and I never miss it. I refuse to miss it.
That's good.
But it's this guy who lives in this neighborhood, in like North Scottsdale off of like Granite Reef.
Mm-hmm.
And he converts his garage, parts of his house, and his backyard into a haunted house. Like, you were physically walking through this man's house at one point. The only reason I know this is because sometimes they don't have like the panels up all the way, and I'm like, I could see people's laundry.
I could see people's. Oh, look, you have dirty drawers.
Oh, but he makes it so fucking good every year.
Yeah.
It's almost similar. I need to show you pictures when I go, because that's the shit that I wait for. Like,
Oh, that's
I build my year around this thing. It's him, and then now 2 other people have started to do it. And this is going back to the teenager thing. This is what made me not want to be with teenagers, because the more you scream, the more they're. If you're with me and you're screaming, I fucking hate you.
If you're
I'm
screaming
allowed to
with me,
scream.
I'm walking faster.
Yeah, because they're gonna fucking come over to you.
Mm-hmm.
So now 2 or 3 other houses do it in the neighborhood. They're all within walking distance, and the guy makes it donation based. It's like $5 a person.
Nice.
And
That's
the city
oh
of
my God.
Scottsdale, the city of Scottsdale allows him to do it. He has a permit. The police are there. Like, it's a pretty safe environment. And then like neighbors sit out on their front porch and give
And
out candy.
listen.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. So I want to shout out him and his family, because they do a really good job. They're setting up now. And it only happens for 4 days. It's always the 27th through the 31st of October.
Yeah.
And then he takes it down and immediately starts on Christmas.
Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool.
So, like, shout out to him and his family. I don't know if they're listening to this. But I think going back to like things that we want to visit, I really want to go to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. Hopefully I get the thing approved that I submitted for.
Hopefully.
We'll find out.
Awesome.
We should find out Monday.
Very cool.
So that's when I want to go to. But I think it would be fun to maybe try to also shoot like a live episode, like walking through a haunted house.
Hell yeah.
Like the way Ellen DeGeneres does her like interviews.
Oh, I was thinking more of like what's his name? Jimmy Fallon, Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah. The GoPros.
Oh, just something like that. Oh my God, yes.
Fuck you, Jimmy. Sorry.
Like,
I love watching them. I'm not gonna lie. My favorite thing around this time period, especially when I'm just like doom scrolling on social media, is seeing people's reactions in haunted houses.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like, I cry.
She says,
I cry.
I cry.
It's
like seeing the pictures too, when people like release the photos, and you can see that. Like, though, like haunted attractions, man, they're the place to be. They're the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You get an opportunity to, spend a little bit more money, maybe experience like a more corporate side of things. I think that 13th floor is a part of Trans World Entertainment. I'm not sure.
I think so. But they're actually, to be fair, they're not horribly priced. Not like having to, and the lines aren't long. And honestly, to get a fast pass through it, like,
yeah,
it's like $5 extra and it's still worth it. And you get like a photo and everything included in it.
Yeah,
so.
That's not bad. I think if you have the opportunity to, save some of your coins and attend a haunted attraction, go for it. Is there one that you want to go to, or maybe have heard of, or?
It's not the haunted attraction. I would like to experience a couple of cities that are really big.
Yeah. Okay. Like
in
which
Halloween.
ones?
Yeah. So like New Orleans is one.
Salem
is another. I mean, going overseas to Ireland, where like Samhain started, which is essentially the birth of Halloween, like would love to see that.
Oh yeah. I think New Orleans for sure. And by the way, you can help us go to New Orleans.
By the merch.
Perch the merch.
Perch
Okay,
the merch.
perch the merch.
Perch the
Link in the
merch. Get
show
us a
notes.
coffee.
Get us a coffee. Help us go to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I was planning on going to Salem last year for my 33rd birthday. I wanted to be 33 and in Salem on Halloween. That didn't pan out because it was just super.
Salem at
You
Hall,
have
like that's something you have to plan out like 2 years
a
in advance.
year to
Yeah.
two in it because it is so expensive. Like just the plane ticket wasn't the problem.
No,
The plane ticket was
it was finding lodging and everything.
like it was literally like $1,000 a day hotels.
Sleepy
And mind
Hollow.
you, I started looking in December of the year prior.
That's insane. I will say, Sleepy Hollow is another one I'd want to go to.
Sleepy Hollow, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just because foliage too, like it's got to be gorgeous out there at the same
I want to
time.
go to Sleepy Hollow. Just take a little nap. Let's sleep.
Is there anything up on the West Coast aside from like what California kind of
California does? I think, well, obviously like New Mexico can be pretty big with like Day of the Dead stuff. Colorado, I heard, is a pretty big place for Halloween as well. Maybe not right now with like the Venezuelan gangs.
Where is they filmed Halloween Town somewhere? I thought it was on the West Coast.
It's
Is it in
in
Oregon?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
No, right? Huh?
Yeah, I thought so.
They do festivals there every year. Oh, and then also the house for no, that's in Salem. Where did Oregon? St. Helens.
Okay, so it was. Okay.
Yeah, St. Helens. So, and they go every year, like Kimberly J. Brown, Emily Roweski, who is an Arizona resident, or in Arizona, yeah.
Ooh.
So they go and they do that every year. Like they do, it's fun that they do like conventions every year.
That's awesome. Now, there are conventions around this time period that I absolutely am excited for.
Absolutely. Days of the Dead, horror fan fest, something. Sorry, there's like 500 of them.
You're like going through.
There's good conventions that also happen. I think that's also a good if you can find a place that doubles up, like has a horror convention with like a haunted house attached to it, tell us where you go because you've just struck gold.
Right?
So yeah. Anything else you want to add? Anything else that our audience should know about haunted attractions or anything else before we wrap up today?
We're going to go based on just the safety factor of haunted houses, guys. If you have heart issues, high blood pressure, if you're one of those that can't deal with walking for long extended periods of time, even though we sit here and say it takes 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes it does take longer depending on the groups that are going through.
Yeah.
If you are someone who scares easily and reacts
don't go.
Physically, definitely don't go.
Please don't.
You are not allowed to hit scare actors. You're not allowed to touch them. You could probably cuss them out a little bit, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking for stuff for kids, you should definitely go the easier route of like things that are a little bit more family friendly, like the corn mazes, the pumpkin patches. You know, if your zoo or like your local museums do some stuff, family based, definitely check those out. And I do think that it is very important during this time of year to understand that this comes from different cultures. So understanding Day of the Dead, understanding Samhain from Ireland, and all of that, I think it's good to look into that and implement a little bit of it into your spooky season.
Yeah, a little bit of cultural knowledge everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely want to reemphasize the safety factor. I also
wear good shoes too.
Oh my God, don't dress for style, dress for comfort, and have arch support. I'm telling you guys, you might be in these lines a little bit longer than just the line itself could be an hour. Depending on the side. Like 13th floor, that line fills up quick.
Yes. If you are going to one of the really big corporate ones like Universal Studios, those lines, those are astronomically long. Do not expect that you're going to hit those houses all in one night. Don't expect that you're not going to stand there for hours on fucking end trying to get into one house. So, shoes and comfort.
Hydrate. Also, on the topic of safety, hydrate. Have
Don't
fun.
go under the influence.
Please don't. Oh my God. It sounds like it'd be a really fun time to take like a little of MDMA and just like see what happens. Don't do that. You could endanger yourself and other people. But aside from the safety factor, there is a lot of space to have fun. There's a lot of space to support big businesses, small businesses, local businesses, family-owned businesses. So have fun this spooky season. If you are in Arizona, Sanctum of Horror is now open. I think 13th floor should be open, as well as Tucson Nightfall.
Yeah. If you're in Florida, depending on where you're at, Central Florida seems to be the biggest in having attractions done up. I do know Tampa's another one that does some stuff. If you're not into haunted houses, but you do want a good ghost story, find some places that do walking ghost tours.
New Orleans has so many.
Yeah. New Orleans, I mean, all sorts of cities do. Savannah, New Orleans.
Get Ghosted
like
Phoenix does it too. Yeah. There's so many places.
Type in ghost tours. I'm sure there's one near you. Those are really good. Those also have the option to be driven around. So it takes off, walking.
Oh yeah. And they have this like outdoorsy escape room haunted thing in Scottsdale. So that'd be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
You get like driven around in a golf cart and stuff. But anywho, we are going to see you guys next week. Yep. Thank you so much for joining us. And I do want to mention that we are now 4 episodes away from season 1 completion. So we've got some pretty cute things lined up for you in these last 4 weeks. And then we are on hiatus until 2025.
Yep. And we will be planning out some really fun stuff.
Yeah.
For the kickoff for that next season.
I know. Okay. Be safe out there. Have so much fun. And listen, I know you don't want to leave. Babe, I know. But since you have to, because I'm tired as fuck, you might as well creep out. Bye.